The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, forgive us today, people. We are having some technical difficulty with Chip joining us on video, but we do have him on the phone. So, Chip, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk, everybody, even though I'm not here. But, it is Wednesday and a rip. So let's get it on.
Yes, it is. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about was the fact that yesterday, Laura Washington, a lot of people know her. She's been a big drug abuse advocate for treatment and services, has taken papers out to run for city council. The interesting thing was that she was there with Sue Nader, who is the station manager at WSAR. And in all, for full clarity, because she got very upset when I didn't say that Michelle Dion and Joe Good were in the office the same time she picked up her papers. So I've now said that. I felt that those people were superfluous. You know, if I'm going to have to do that, then I have to list every single worker that's in the elections office. So, you know, she pulled a Paul Coogan where, you know, she picked on one phrase, one word, and drew it out. I had made some comments in regards to who will she support? Will she be supporting big business? Will she be supporting the developers? Will she be supporting Bobby Karam? After all, she is a guest host usually on WSAR. Will she support unlimited TIFs? Will she support the building of market rate housing? And she didn't refute any of those things initially. Then she turned around and said, well, I represent Fall River. I love my city. That doesn't refute what I said, nor does it clarify your position. And Jean St. Pierre turned around and said, Laura, you need to stop answering every single statement that's made. You'll drive yourself crazy, which is true. She's now in office. She's now running for an office. Therefore, people are going to be, you know, attacking her. I mean, she's supposedly the chair, or she's on the drug task force that the city has, which hasn't met. So what's the problem there? Are you shirking your responsibilities? I don't know. I can't say. But, I mean, I was told right off the bat when I posted that yesterday that you have not had a meeting and that, you know, it's been a while since there have been meetings. Now, granted, we had COVID. So a lot of things came to a stop because of COVID. But we're now out of COVID. Things are going back to normal. So when is the next meeting going to be scheduled? That's the big question. So it's always an interesting time when dealing with political candidates.
It certainly is.
So.
Yeah, just hang on 1 second.
But
I think that the important thing, you know, when you mentioned who she was with, it was because you had someone who was from a media outlet. So when a candidate goes in there with someone from a media outlet, that always gives people cause to reflect on that. I mean, is that media outlet going to give fair and balanced coverage for her, or is she going to get a little bit of an extra leg up? So that calls into question loyalties and everything else. You know, and the I love Fall River euphemism is a crock. Everybody that runs for office loves Fall River, and the problem is that they love it. They love it because they get tips for their friends and pay raises and jobs. You know, they don't love the taxpayer and the working class in Fall River, and that's the problem. You know, if she's going to run for office, she will be held accountable for her platforms, as you asked her. In that, you know, and you didn't get an answer. but she's going to have to answer it during the campaign, and that's just the way it is.
It's true. You're going to have to answer during the campaign, and this is, we're still at a point where we don't even know if we're going to have a primary. And if we don't have a primary, then it's going to be, a push at the end to find out who's going to be the candidates that are going to win. Also, remember that Laura Washington is a big ally of Linda Pereira. And it seems that Linda is recruiting candidates so that she can get 5 on the council to support whichever mayor comes in or oppose whatever mayor comes in, depending on who the new mayor may be or the old mayor may come back. So, because you get 5, you got the votes, you're all set. And is that something that is going on? Is Linda trying to stack the deck or stack the council so that it'll be easier for Paul to get things through in the next term if he's reelected? So that's going to be another thing that we're going to have to look at. There's a lot of machinations going on here, and we're not sure what is happening totally. So it's going to be interesting to fend through the BS and find out what actually is happening and who's actually doing what. So it should be interesting to see.
Yeah, you're right, because it's always a little bit more exciting when there's an open seat, and it appears as though today is a big day because there's supposedly an announcement coming this afternoon for another mayoral candidate, and that may open up a seat in the council. And so there's always a little bit more because it's hard to displace some incumbents, and we know that even the minority incumbents in this particular election do have a voter base wide enough to probably make them contenders again, if not to get reelected, because they've been reelected for years. And it's just a reality. It's unfortunate, but they have enough people who they got a street light for to get in the council. Head-to-head races, they don't do so well, but in city council races where you want a 9, you get the second, third, fourth, all the way up to 9th vote of somebody, they get in. So when it's an open seat, you know that there's going to be at least one new addition to the city council. So it makes it a little bit more interesting. So hopefully, but it's up to the people to hold everybody accountable, incumbents and candidates.
True, it's true. Speaking of a couple of different things, I just received a message from Congressman Jake Auchincloss.
Oh, how lucky you are.
I know. He said that Friday, July 9th, he's going to be hosting community office hours in Fall River. This is an opportunity for you to come meet me, talk about issues important to you, and get updates on what I'm doing to serve your community. Details about our visits are below. I hope you'll be able to join me. If you are able to attend, please RSVP to Auchincloss RSVP at mail.house.gov. His community office hours will be Friday, July 9th from 11:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. at Fall River Government Center. 1 Government Center, Fall River, Mass. 02722. It's actually 22, so he doesn't even know the zip code. The only problem I have with this is that every one of these elected officials, Paul Schmidt's one of them too. I mean, Jake Auchincloss, they get offices in Government Center, and we don't charge them anything. Mike Rodrigues has an office in Government Center, and I don't believe we're charging them anything. They get money from their positions for their offices. Therefore, why are we not getting that money? That would help us. And that's something that we have to look at. I mean, if they're going to use our offices and they're going to be maintaining office hours there, then yes, I think they need to pay for it. There's nothing free. But just because you're Paul Coogan and you want to keep everybody happy, guess what? We don't charge you a fee.
And not only that, when their office is in Government Center and it's campaign time, you can walk up and down the halls and greet everybody who's going to visit Auchincloss. And by the way,
That's right. He did. He did.
That's funny. He may even be sitting in the office with them.
That's right.
My spies have reported that the last 2 days, our mayor has been in Barcelos eating breakfast and, glad handing everybody. I guess he had to reschedule a couple of backroom deals, so he could get down there and glad hand everybody. But we have spies everywhere. We know where you are at all times, Paul.
Yeah, that's true. The other thing is this weekend, City Councilor Chris Peckham brought down gubernatorial candidate Jeff Deal, and they did a tour of Fall River. Not only of the good things in Fall River, like the Veterans Memorial Park, otherwise known as Bicentennial Park, because the city hasn't changed the name of it yet, but also of the issues in Fall River. I think Chris reached out appropriately and wanted to point that out, because we hear about Fall River out of the current governor's mouth all the time, but we don't see a lot of work. We do see a lot of stuff coming out from Carol Fiola lately, and she's big on the South Coast Rail project, and she keeps giving us updates. She issued an update today on the South Coast Rail project, so we know she's on top of things there. But hey, it is what it is. So
yeah, be careful. I finally got in. I may be appearing from deep space very shortly.
Okay, we'll see. It'd be nice to see you, and I'm sure the offices would like to see you as well. You can maybe make the last 15 minutes of the show.
Well, it's nice. It's better because I have to kind of, it's kind of hard to track when I'm not seeing you and you're seeing me. So it's kind of like you got that longer. But then again, the way this thing is buffering, who knows? It may be 15 minutes before I finally get. I've already connected with the link, but it's loading. So, but it is what it is. No, here we go. Can't reach the page. Gee.
Yeah, that's your internet provider. I told you need to get rid of Verizon, because that happens all the time.
This is ridiculous, because I've been at this for an hour.
Right.
And I finally got into my email, and I linked on the StreamYard link, and imaginations. But we continue with the show, and obviously, there's going to be some political fireworks, and we have a lot of issues out there, and already they're lining up to politicize the council. What they want to do is stack the council, kind of like court packing. If you can't win on the merits, just put all your cronies in there, and you get everything you wanted. I mean, that's a horrifying thought. If we have a council that's going to rubber stamp everything and not examine it, how many overrides are we going to have in the munis system? There's a problem right there. We were told that somebody did override the munis system. I don't know whether my memory is serving me correctly, but didn't Mary Hattie say someone overrode it?
Yes, she did at a city council meeting.
The man comes out with a press release that said nobody overrode the munis system.
But he pointed the finger at somebody. He said the only person authorized to override the munis system is the auditor. But he confirmed, but he said that the auditor has not overridden the munis system. Well, is the chief financial officer mistaken or lying, or are you mistaken and lying? We don't know which it is. So, you should really check out the statements of your staff and your people before you start making statements, Mr. Mayor, because it makes you look like a fool sometimes when statements were made. And yes, it was said in the city council meeting, I believe it was said to Councilor Sean Kadeen, that the override was made in the munis system. So who did it?
And we do have the tape of that meeting, and it was said. And obviously, he said it wasn't done. The CFO said it was done. And so, and they even, talked about what accounts were overwritten. So the fact is that, again, all they do is give you, misinformation dominion. We got everything. It's like, well, the CFO said somebody overrode the system. It wasn't her because she doesn't have authorization. It's the auditor, not the CFO. So somebody overrode it, and the only person that has the jurisdiction and the authority to do that is the auditor. So did anybody ever think of asking the auditor if they, and if not, who did it? Now, again, we have a mystery that's going to go unsolved because Paul's waiting for all the information to come in.
Oh, yeah, like he was waiting for the transcripts that were never requested of the Jazel Correa trial where John Perry testified to paying somebody twice. And the mayor said he couldn't do anything until he got a hold of the transcripts. To date, I don't believe the transcripts have been requested by anyone. So obviously, either the mayor was lying about requesting the transcripts or that he was going to review the transcripts, or he had no intentions of doing it at all. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's getting worse, you know, as time goes on. And I want an elected official that I can look to, that I can trust, and that I can know what's going on. If I can't trust my elected official, I have a problem. And I can't trust a few elected officials right now. And that's why I really don't reach out to them.
Well, I am backstage right now, supposedly. So.
Oh, maybe Steve will pick it. There you go. I think you're coming in.
Hey, everybody.
But you're buffering still. We may have to do you with audio only.
Yeah, because I just got a message having trouble connecting. This is often caused by unstable internet connections. So you know what I got to say to that? Bye-bye, Verizon.
Yeah.
Hello, Comcast. Here I come today. When we get done with the show, I am getting rid of Verizon. So, but again, I can't see you. But,
I can see you.
Yeah, oh, there you are. Well, but you know, what we have here at CJ is old school politics. Putin's coming back with all the cronies who were from 20, 30 years ago. And the way they ran the city.
And the way they ran the city was they had a city council that were bobbleheads.
And I got to shut this phone off because.
I would. Now I'm getting.
I would
feedback.
shut your microphone on the camera.
Okay. Let me see.
Right down the bottom, you'll see the thing that says mic. Just.
I got a different mic.
No, on your browser, down at the bottom, you'll see mic, camera.
I got an external mic.
I understand that, but you can shut it off on the web browser.
This one shuts off my internal. Yeah, that's the internal mic. I got them both disconnected.
Okay.
So, but I'll get rid of the phone again. Jesus.
Are you there? I guess we lost Chip. Looks like we lost Chip. We lost you, Chip. Yep, we lost Chip. Sorry about that, people. But we seem to have lost Chip. If he calls back, we'll get him back on the audio. But this is getting to be a little difficult today. Technology does not want to cooperate. This is the problem when you don't have a stable internet connection. And, are you there, sir?
Yes. So I was saying, before I was so rudely interrupted by Verizon's terrible internet connection, we're getting back to the old school 20, 30 years ago type of politics where they elected all their friends on the city council, and they get yeses to everything, and they just ramrod their own. This is how many of our rich people in the city rose to power during that era. They had a mayor and a city council who was very friendly to them, and they rose to power. So Paul's inner circle is comprised of all these old names. They've been taken off the shelf, dusted off, and put back in the game. And they only know how to play the game one way. taxpayer and take care of all our friends.
Exactly. And just so people are aware, because there's been a lot of question about the ARPA money. Okay, the mayor has included in the budget the ARPA money. The mayor is standing on the fact that he believes, as Mary Sahadi did, that they do not need the city council's approval to spend the ARPA money. Well, Mr. Mayor, you may have a rude awakening pretty soon, because number one, I think that if the city council doesn't file a lawsuit against you, I think that that is disingenuous to the people of Fall River. Number two, I contacted DLS and they wouldn't give me their opinion, but they started to allude to it before they asked me if I was a city official. Once I told them that I wasn't, they said, we can't give you that information. Have a city official contact us. So I contacted a city official, gave that city official the person's name, phone number, and direct extension, as well as their email address, and told them to contact them to get the opinion. And because they'll get the opinion in writing. And if that opinion is that the city council needs to approve that ARPA money, your budget is imbalanced. And I've also been advised yesterday by a citizen who filed a complaint with the Inspector General's office that they were contacted and they wanted more information on how the budget is out of balance, how it's operating with a deficit, and where they got that information from. And they provided a copy of the video of the city council meeting where it showed where the deficit was. So, Mr. Mayor, your administration may be looking at a lot of problems from a lot of different state-run organizations, from DOR to the Inspector General. And you could have a big headache on your hands, especially during an election cycle.
Well, don't you think that, can you see the irony here, CJ? They absolutely were adamant that the city council did not have the ability to reject an entire budget. And they had to do it item by item, line by line. Yet when it comes to the opera money, they can reject by giving their assent to using opera money. They don't have the right to go line by line with the way the opera money is being used. You don't think that's a conflict? Isn't that taking both sides of an issue? Isn't that amazing? Look at the irony of that. You're saying that they have to reject every single item to reduce it.
Right.
But now you're going to get a whole bunch of money they're going to use a bunch of different ways. But now you're saying because the council said, okay, we can use opera money, that they don't have the right to go in and look at each individual usage of that money. So that's kind of like talking out of both sides of your mouth, or maybe one talking out of your mouth and then the other aura gets out.
Well, the thing that bothers me is that we heard from Tim McCoy during a city council meeting that the mayor would meet in the third meeting with the public to get input from the public. Then the mayor tells Christopher Peckham, I never said that. And Chris Peckham said, no, your city administrator said it. So again, people talking out of their asses, their butts. They don't know what they're doing. I mean, you got a problem here. And that's, this is when one hand doesn't know what the other's doing, you create a problem. And this is getting to be a bigger and bigger problem as we turn around. And it's time to stop these problems. It's time to take control of this government. It's time for the people to rise up and take control of their government.
Yeah, true. And Tim McCoy, I have a new nickname for him. He's the interim city administrator, I know, but after that questioning on facts that he couldn't answer, and of course his excuse was, I wasn't here, but if they send you down there, you should bring yourself up to speed, because that's what you're down there for. My new nickname for him, CJ, is the Desk Whisperer.
Well, he was looking down at the desk.
He looks down at the desk and whispers to the desk. I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you something. This reminded me of something that's going on. And once I start reading it, you're going to know exactly what it is. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which has connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. And that's what's happening right now here in Fall River. We need to separate. Okay, Jefferson said it perfectly. He said, when government doesn't provide what you need, it's time to dissolve the government. And that's what Paul's forcing the people of Fall River to do, to try to dissolve the government. It's trying to create a revolution here in Fall River.
Yeah. And remember one of my other favorite Jeffersonian quotes. When a government is large enough to give you everything you need, it's large enough to take everything you have.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that's the problem. That's what we're seeing in this city and in the United States. And we get the same stuff in the city. Don't worry. Let all the rich guys and my banker friends handle everything. They'll take care of you. Yeah, they'll take care of themselves, not the average person. I do not see our poverty, people living in poverty, going down. We're not eradicating poverty. We're not eradicating drug use. We're not eradicating anything. All we're doing is eradicating any kind of cost to the rich guys.
Well, now that you mentioned homelessness, I saw pictures this week of the homeless living on the waterfront. They were living by the buildings. They were living down on the waterfront. Great place to bring in tourists, right into the waterfront where they can see the homeless. Now, didn't you have that problem in Texas?
Oh, yeah, I still have pictures when I went down to Austin about 4 years ago. Before it broke on the national news, I was horrified. Capital of Texas, Democratic-run city, of course, in a normally red state. But I walked out of the hotel that the conference was in to go to a local restaurant. I hadn't been in Austin, I don't know, an hour and a half. I got in from the airport, went to the room, changed up, took a shower, looked up the closest restaurant to grab a bite to eat. And I walked out, and I went about a half a block, and I began to see bodies all over the streets, laying there, passed out. And this was in the middle of the day. And then later on, I found the entire downtown area was tents infested with people living on the streets. And I mean, San Francisco's become a giant toilet. The major areas in San Francisco have become toilets. And that's the problem. When the rich guys say they're taking care of us, they're lying. Because the rich guys live on mansions, they don't need police. They're in favor of defunding cops. Because it's the people in Chicago where there were 99 shootings. Over 250 people died last weekend. But you think Bezos and the rest of them care about that? They live in mansions and they have their own personal security. So, don't tell me that. The great unwashed remain the great unwashed.
That's true. Hey, I got to say one last thing before we leave. The 4th of July celebration, people were very pleased with it. But I want to remind people, while that was paid for with city tax dollars, it's the park department that pays for the fireworks. And the mayor's team, whoever it was, whether it be Pavidi or Ann O'Neill Souza or whoever on the mayor's team who got those food trucks and expanded that area down the entire boardwalk, I've got to give them credit. But I'm not going to give the mayor credit. I'm going to give his team credit because his team did it. It wasn't the mayor. So, all right, everyone. I want to thank you for watching. Sorry for all the difficulties we had with the internet connection and everything else. But maybe on Friday we'll have a better show. Thanks for watching. Remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. And if you can get down to Al Max Diner, watch the video. Hey, thank you.